or a hawk by day or an owl by night, because we're going to take a journey of witnessing the impact of inequality. But this journey is also the beginning in your own life of sacred activism. Because I trust that after this journey, you'll be able to, something will be stirred within you, and you'll be able to join others all around the planet without considering their race or their class or their creed, their gender, their age, and simply see them as living entities. And this will involve minerals, animals, plants, microorganisms, because we are all this. So imagine wherever you are as the center of the planet. Doesn't really matter where you are, we are told the planet is round. So you are the center of the planet, and you're going to fly to the southern realms of the planet. Maybe you may choose to fly into Africa, to southern sub-Saharan Africa. I invite you to fly above the villages and witness the scourge of inequality. Witness an old woman alone, desolate, with no one to support her because her children were killed in war. War over resources, over gold, silver, and platinum. Further down, displaced nations living in squalor with no dignity, ravaged by disease, cholera, Ebola, and the like. But also realize that you have actually participated in this. You have actually allowed this to take place in the 21st century, where we're supposed to be at the pinnacle of human evolution. I invite you to go deeper and witness the conflict over resources, brother killing brother just across the river. We all know, we all have seen the trending of what's happening to our African brothers and sisters in North Africa, where men are being sold at the auction blocks for silver and gold, where women, young girls, are going to be turned into sex slaves. One nation against another, because one feels they are more equal than another, they are more superior than another, and another with wealth has the power to then purchase another human being for their subjugation. We have all contributed to this. We have all participated in the perpetuation of this evil. Now I'll invite you to fly over the waters to the eastern realms. You may choose to go through India, Thailand, Japan, China, Iraq, Iran, the Middle and Far East. Witness the personification of deception, where deception is the order of the day, where fear and intimidation rules the hearts of men and women and children, where everyone is oppressed, where everyone plays an important role in deception, in corruption, but are actually paralyzed by wars and rumors of wars, still over resources, over the wealth that the planet has actually given us all for us to share. Take a break and fly over the northern realms, across Eastern Europe into Western Europe, and witness the greed, the arrogance, the materialism, the bigotry, and the destruction that all these things have caused on the human conscience, torn families, and how greed has actually brought suffering into those parts of the world. And realize that all this we are all responsible for. We have allowed our governments, we have allowed the multinationals to use, abuse, and refuse to exploit the meek and the marginalized. And finally, I invite you to fly over into the Western Hemisphere, where ignorance and self-concertedness, where foolishness has actually materialized itself into violence, violent rhetoric, where governments are no longer protecting people. Governments are actually the biggest terrorists, tearing apart individuals, tearing apart families and communities, tearing apart nations, corrupting nations from within. All this are the impacts of inequality. And when it comes to sacred activism, I would like us to realize that that which created us put in us the potential to shift, to transmute all this. The power to change all this doesn't necessarily lie out there. It's all within. It only takes our consciousness, but also our resolve, day by day, to do something to reverse the impact of inequality. I have this experience in my work where I use indigenous knowledge systems, the ancient wisdoms of ancient Africa, interfacing this with modern science and technology in such a way that that old lady that was actually kicked out, excluded from participating in creating her own wealth by the apartheid government of this country, but also the corrupt government of the current government, which is also corrupt just as it is everywhere in the world, where these elders that have never set foot at school can actually sit with professors and discuss knowledge, because knowledge is knowledge, regardless of where it's coming from. And in the process, co-create or give birth to new knowledge, new products, but also new processes that then shift their socioeconomic status, where they can participate in knowledge economy, and as a result, we call them barefoot professors. I feel we can do this. All of us, we can do this all at once, wherever we are. So I invite you to be a sacred activist by simply flying back. As you're flying back to the center, returning to your center, to the core, that you have witnessed all this, but now I want you to just breathe in and really breathe out hope. Breathe out your authentic awareness that yes, there is this evil on the planet. However, we have the power to transmute all this. So I invite you to breathe out this authentic awareness that all over the planet we experience peace. Because wherever there is peace, definitely there will be justice. And when we are just, we are equal. There will be equity and there will be equality. I'd like you to breathe out unity, celebrate the diversity of this planet. Breathe out knowledge, because from knowledge we are able to decimate this inequality. We become empowered, and as a result, we enter a state of renewal where we have new eyes, new ways of perceiving reality, new ways of seeing, and as a result, new way of being. With a new way of being, we're able, therefore, to realize that there are those who have less, there are those who don't have. So this becomes a challenge, but also an impetus for us to give more, to love more, to share. And the more we share, is the more we render the planet just. And the more the planet is just, is the more we render it free. We free it from the shackles of inequality, poverty, and hunger. We free it from war and conflict. We free it from disease that we're not supposed to even suffer from in this time. Therefore, we bring about joy and pleasure and bliss, where we can dance again, where children can actually experience what it means to be happy, to be content. And it's easier from that space for us to give gratitude, to be joyful, to be thankful. And wherever we are thankful, it's easy for us to transform into something we've never been, to become members of a new humanity, a humanity that is vital, a humanity that is able to create an equal world, a humanity which has the consideration but also the conscience that, yes, indeed, we are one people, regardless of where we come from, regardless of the boxes they have tried to put us in, regardless of the concepts like race which they created in order to box us, regardless of our gender and age, regardless of our achievements and acquisitions. If each one of us can just simply realize this, I trust that within us, a spark for us to act, to know that there is something that needs doing today with immediacy, with such agency, will actually be aroused. Thank you so much. It was indeed a pleasure to share with you, and I trust this has actually opened a new way, a new door for you to participate and contribute towards the creation of wealth for all, but also towards the total dissolving of that which perpetuates inequality.